We often see people begging on the streets, outside temples, in railway stations. Should we give them money or should we help them in a way that serves them better? How can one do that? Let's discover more in the story The Beggar by Anton Chekhov. Anton Chekhov was a Russian author. His realistic style makes us look beneath the surface and think deeper. The Beggar is one such story. It revolves around two men, Sergei and Lashkov. Sergei is a middle-aged Russian man. He's stern and honest with his words. Lashkov is a younger man who lies for money. A beggar approaches Sergei asking for money, saying that he had been a teacher for 8 years before he lost his job due to calumny a year ago. He adds that he has finally gotten a position in the province of Kalunga but requires money to go there. Would you have believed this had a man approached you saying this? Sergei at once recognizes the man to be a scammer. He pretended to be a student the day before to extract money from Sergei. The beggar denies this and assures Sergei that he was indeed a school teacher, but gives in once Sergei threatens to take him to the police station. The beggar confesses to be a Russian singer who was sent away from his choir due to drunkenness. He says that he only gets money by lying. No one will give him money if he is honest. Angry at this response, Sergei says that the beggar can find some work for himself and live a decent life if he wants to. Sergei suggests that the beggar should chop wood for him. He called out for his cook Olga and asked her to take the beggar to the shed. The beggar unwillingly follows the cook. It was apparent that the only reason the beggar agreed to chop the woods was that he was too proud to go back on his words. Do you think that Sergei's efforts can change the beggar? What do you? Let's find the answer in this video. Olga despised the beggar. She glares at him with anger and unlocks the shed, angrily banging the door. She shoves the beggar aside with her elbow. The beggar sits on a log and pulls a billet of wood towards him and started carefully tapping it with his axe as if to prevent it from injuring himself. Sergei's anger transformed to guilt for having made a sickly, drunken man to do menial labor in the cold. A bit later, Olga announces that the beggar had chopped wood and Sergei pays him half a ruble. The beggar would often visit Sergei for work. He would shovel snow, put the woodshed in order, beat the dust out of the rugs and the mattresses. He would receive 20 to 40 kopecks for his work. He even received a pair of trousers once. We see that the beggar has started to transform himself. He's working hard to earn a living instead of lying for money. Sergei hires the beggar to help him shift to another house. This time, the beggar was sober, gloomy, and silent. He hardly even touched the furniture. He walked behind the wagons, not even pretending to be busy. He shivered and felt embarrassed when the carters mocked at him for his idleness and his tattered and fancy overcoat. We now come to know the name of the beggar. His name was Lashkov. Sergei offers Lashkov a better job. Sergei hands Lashkov a letter and asked him to meet a friend of his who would give him a job of copying. Lashkov did not work anymore at the yard. Sergei was pleased to put the man on the right path. 2 years later, Sergei and Lashkov meet at a theatre. Lashkov is now a notary and is paid 35 rubles a month. Lashkov thanks Sergei for taking him to the yard, but he also reveals that it was Olga who was responsible for changing Lashkov. She scolded him for his sorry state and even chopped the wood for Lashkov so that he gets paid. It was Olga's noble act that changed Lashkov. So, what have you understood from the story? A noble idea may change a man, but it is a noble deed that actually brings out the change.